All right, just a quick follow-up on interfaces. So I've extended our drawable interface just a little bit, added a few methods here to kind of give you a better understanding of why you would do an interface to begin with. Um, so let's say you have an object and you know you're going to want to draw it, and maybe it's part of like a graphics program. And you're going to have all these different types of objects, but you know you're going to want to be able to draw them and manipulate them. Okay, so let's ignore this first little bit. Um, so we have this method draw that we had before, but let's say that we want to be able to shift this thing around, and that's one of the requirements for something to be drawable. Well, now our class has to have all of these as well. It has to be able to move left, right, up, down, and by some integer amount. Okay, shift it left 2 or shift it left 15. Okay, and maybe you want to make sure that if it's an object that you're going to draw, you need to know where it is, so it has to have a position. So you can require it to have the method getPosition that returns a point. A point is just like an XY coordinate pair kind of thing. But by having this getPosition, you basically force it to have certain attributes, or at least a way to determine where its position is. Okay, so what that does, again, is it gives all of these requirements so that once you get this object, as long as it has all those requirements, it's good to go. You can rotate it, you can move it left, right, up, down, because it has all of these methods overloaded. Okay. I also want to mention one thing I didn't make time for in the previous video. You don't have to, in your interface, write that all of these are public and abstract. Why? Well, it makes no sense for a method in an interface to be private. Like, would literally do nothing. And all of them are abstract methods. You can't have a method with a body inside an interface. So this is like super redundant. So if you actually see someone writing an interface, they aren't going to write public abstract. Okay, so this should still run just fine. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this doesn't come up a ton, but you can actually have variables in an interface, but they have to be public static final. You can't have an instance variable, okay, a non-static variable, and you can't have a variable where the value changes. So this is very rare that it comes up, but technically it could happen. So again, all of those are redundant. So you would not be forced to put all of those in. Okay. So that's a more fleshed out example of an interface. Again, I wouldn't expect to see variables in very many interfaces that you stumble on, but I wanted to show you that it's a possibility. Again, only if it's public, static, final,